Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too. Hello and welcome to Vow to View, a Daily Planet podcast, all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. My name is Elyse Daly.
And I am Scott Daly.
And together,
I need to redo that. That
we're
was
the
terrible.
Dailies.
I was kind
and I'm off tune. Sorry. Hey.
Hey. What's up, babe? I tried to kind of do intentionally make myself bad because I'm not a good singer. So when you intentionally make yourself bad, it means it's okay.
Yeah.
And I took it too far. I took it too far there.
Did you?
I did.
You tried? You were trying. Why are you wearing your headphones?
So I can make sure that you're not too loud.
Oh, but you don't ever wear your headphones.
Well, yeah, I need to monitor the sound now, so I'm going to do that. Why aren't you wearing your headphones?
I don't need headphones.
Elyse,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
We're doing a podcast, what we always do.
We
Try
didn't-
and take over the world, Scott. That's what we're doing. Trying to take over the world.
It's a sweet 90s reference, babe.
One podcast at a time.
What happened last week? Where were we? We dropped the ball.
We did. Well, see, so the issue is that if we don't record on the night that we schedule, which is typically Thursday nights, sometimes Wednesdays, then it's just like the weekend rolls around, and then after the weekend passes and you already have your next week's stuff. So it's like if we don't get it done the day that we have it planned, then we just don't get it done. And we thought that we were going to be able to do it over the weekend, and it didn't work out.
It didn't.
It didn't work out, guys. I'm sorry. But you know what? Are we ever in front of the holidays and the things that happen, or are we always behind? So let's be real. Did we plan it or did we not plan it?
We did not.
I don't know. We tried to plan it.
We did not.
We tried.
We did not.
You know what? Sometimes when you try, you fail. And it's okay. You just got to pick yourself back up, dust off your shoulders and your shoes, and just keep on walking. And then we eventually get it. Now, it might be a week later, but you know what? We're still the same people. You're still the same people. It's fine.
So 5 days late, we're here to talk about mommies.
A week late.
5 days. It's 5 days after Mother's Day.
Oh, I thought you meant like a week after the episode.
No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, we're talking about our moms 5 days after the day of the mothers.
We are. And we got a couple of movies that our moms really like that we're going to talk about. Movies that I think we both have actually seen. But before we do that, Elyse, I think you wanted to play a game this week.
Oh, I did want to play a little game this week.
What game did you want to play?
Well, like in one of my in the movie that I chose, there's that song.
Which song?
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
So you
brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. So, Scott, I want to know what some of your favorite things are.
Okay.
What's my favorite thing?
You go first. We'll just go back and forth. What's one of your favorite things?
Sleep.
Really?
I love sleep. It's so nice.
I know. That's why we couldn't record. You fell asleep during this very movie.
It's just like, you know what? When you lay down and you're horizontal and you've got this nice pillow. I've got a really good pillow. I love my pillow.
It is a good pillow.
It's a great pillow.
Yeah, it is a good pillow.
I wasn't actually sleeping in my bed whenever I fell asleep.
No.
But I was on the couch, and you know what? If I can't sleep on my pillow, then I like the couch. We've got a nice couch too.
We do.
Not sponsored by Lovesack.
However,
Lovesack. Not sponsored by
Lovesack.com/couch/
not sponsored
/daily. Wait. So
why don't you use promo code Scott and Elyse when you buy your Lovesack? Promo code VTV.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna work.
It's not going to work. No.
Okay.
But let us know if it does work. If you get a discount, I'd really like to know because, like, who's getting the money for that?
I don't
I don't know. Not us. Screw Lovesack.
Want to know what my favorite things is?
Yeah.
Watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
I love
It's that
watermelon.
season.
It's watermelon season again. Elyse got me a big old tub of watermelon
I
today.
did because I love you. I went
was
to the grocery
so
store
good.
to go get stuff for dinner, and I walked in, and of course they have the pineapple, the watermelon, and then the fruit assortment. And I was like, you know what? It's watermelon season. Scott loves watermelon. I love Scott, so I will get Scott some watermelon.
When I was a kid, we used to get like the big slice of watermelon, and then we would race to see who could eat it as fast as possible. And you get watermelon all over your face, and the seeds would be flying everywhere.
Yeah, we did not do that. We learned how to eat it nicely with spoons.
Well, that's lame.
No, and it made like these really cool like
Boring.
indentions, and it made it look like the moon. You know, like the little craters in the moon. Only it was watermelon. And then after that, you would slurp all of the juice. Which, have you ever had a watermelon fresca?
Here's the thing about watermelon and Scott Daly.
Yeah.
I love watermelon.
You don't like the flavor, though.
Watermelon
Something
flavoring
else.
is
Interesting.
gross. Don't like it.
Well, watermelon frescas are pretty good, actually.
I wouldn't like them.
I don't know. You might.
I might. Won't try them.
Why not?
Just give me that sweet, sweet watermelon.
I'm going to make you try a watermelon fresca sometime.
Okay.
Watermelon margaritas. Evidently, On the Border has watermelon margaritas now.
Wouldn't do it. Just want the watermelon. I'd just be drinking and be like, I could be eating / drinking a watermelon right now. Instead,
But what if... Why have we not infused watermelon with vodka
I don't know, because we don't like...
or tequila?
We don't drink a lot.
That's
So,
true. And I really just drink wine.
I mean, we don't infuse anything with vodka. I don't understand this question.
So why have we not done it, Scott? That's
don't
the
know.
question. Why are we not more exciting in our lives? Why do we not infuse our watermelons?
Because we got so many movies to watch for this
I guess
podcast.
so.
Elyse, what is
Yeah.
another one of your favorite things?
Oh, you know what? Another one, traveling. I love to travel. I love to experience new places and pretend like I'm a local and live there.
Yeah, that's the kind of travel we do.
Yeah.
We don't like to do the really touristy stuff when we travel. We'll say like
We'll do
one
some
day,
of them,
like
yeah.
one day we'll be the tourists, and the rest of the day we just want to like let's just pretend we live here.
Yeah. So we try and find the good local coffee shops, bookstores, things like that, that if we were caught there and we were dressed correctly, maybe people would ask us for directions. That's the goal.
That's the goal. That
Yeah.
someone asks you for directions,
Excuse
and then
me,
you go,
where's the...
and then you go, I don't know. Why are you asking me? You're
I don't
holding
live here.
holding an iPhone
I
in your
just
hand.
look like I do.
You just it's in my phone tells me where to go.
Yeah. I don't know. What else do you like, Scott?
I like
things?
what do I like? I had it and I
Other than
lost
movies.
it.
You cannot say movies because everyone knows that movies is one of your favorite things.
Obviously.
No movies.
I
You may say me, though.
no.
Am I not one of your favorite things?
Yeah, but this feels obvious.
Oh.
Of course it's you.
Okay. Well, we're just letting everyone know that I am one of your favorite things. You just don't have to say it.
Okay. I love Stephen King.
Oh, gosh, you do.
I've been on my Stephen King kick lately.
You have been.
It's so good.
Every time you turn around, you see Scott, and it's not just Scott, it's Scott and Steven.
Yeah.
Your
We're holding
bestie.
hands.
In a sense, yes.
I always bring my book to work with me because I read during my lunch break if I don't have other stuff going on. And people have noticed and they're like, why are you reading Stephen King all the time, Scott? And I'm like, why not?
Exactly.
Random person
You know,
that's challenging my life choices.
I had a similar encounter this week at work as you did that one time that you were at lunch and you were reading, and it's like you had your headphones on, you were reading a book, and then people come up to you and they talk to you. And I mean, I don't know if it's just I don't really like social interaction at times, or if I'm just really like, you know what, don't you see that I'm doing something? And I get that. I'm like, you know what, if people see that I'm doing something, then do not come and interrupt.
Right.
I get it all the time. I'm talking to a kid. I am listening to them read and giving a test, in a sense, in front of them. And someone comes up to me and they're like, excuse me, and I'm like, I'm doing something and it's really important and I have to listen and follow to see if this person is reading this passage accurately. And I just give them the death stares. Anyways, so I finished the STAR test early because I had to give the STAR test to a couple of different kids this week, and they
That's the Texas standardized test
yes.
for those people that don't live in Texas.
Yeah. And so I like took this big stack of papers to grade, and then I got through all my grading. And so I was like, well, what else do I do? I couldn't pack anything else in my room because we're getting refurbished. So the whole school has to get packed up. And so I had brought my book to work. So I went to the lounge and I started reading. And then all of a sudden, someone comes in. I don't even look up from the book. But she comes in and she's just like, oh, hey, I didn't know you were here.
That's so annoying.
Yeah. No one does. And that's why I'm here and I'm hiding and I'm trying to read.
If I have a book in my hand, leave me alone.
I know.
Leave me alone.
I know.
And you're right. Like, have we told the story on the podcast before?
I don't know.
When I read at lunch, I wear my headphones because, now I used to eat at my desk, and then this mean lady that sat behind me, was like, didn't you see they changed the rules and you're not allowed to eat lunch at your desk anymore? Mm. So I had to go to the break room to eat my lunch, which if I'm just reading a book, I don't need to go to the break room to do it. So I go to the break room and then people start talking to me. So I go to the break room and I bring my headphones and I put on my big noise canceling headphones and I'm just playing thunderstorm noises. I love reading to thunderstorm noises.
Another favorite thing.
Yeah. And so I have a book open in my hand, giant headphones over my ears, and people come and sit down and start talking to me. I'm like, what? How much more of a leave me alone signal can I give?
How much more of an inconvenience can you be? Not only do you have to stop reading, you have to take your headphones off. Yeah. You might have been listening to something important there, like our podcast.
Exactly.
And so then now you have to interrupt not only your book, but what you're listening to as well. Yeah. These selfish people around here these days.
That is not one of my favorite things.
Ugh, no.
Are we done? Do we need to do
one
more?
of my favorite things is my mom. I do love my mom.
My mom is one of my favorite things too.
So I thought I'd throw that in there because we're talking about Mother's Day.
Did you have a good Mother's Day?
I had a really good Mother's Day. I mean, I'm not a mother, so I enjoyed celebrating my mother, though. Yeah. I mean, I am a dog mom, but, my dogs didn't get me anything this year for Mother's Day.
I'm curious.
I wonder why.
People out there with dogs, do you do that? Do you give, dog mom and dog dad presents on Mother? Because I don't think this is a thing. And Elyse seems to think it's a thing. And if it is a thing, it's a thing that we shouldn't do. That's my opinion. It's ridiculous.
I think there's nothing wrong with making someone feel loved on a special day.
But it's not your special day.
It could be if my dogs loved me.
You are not
a mother. If my husband loved me.
You get plenty of special days. You do not need one for buying a dog.
I beg to differ.
All right.
But anyway, I did have a good Mother's Day.
Good.
I enjoyed the activities we did the day before.
We did some crafts with my mom.
Yeah.
And then we ate some cow with your mom.
Some really good food.
It was a lot of prime rib. I was so full.
But you loved it.
Oh, it was so good.
It was so good. The creamed corn. I had that delicious salmon. Oh,
yeah,
salmon.
You were good.
Whatever.
It's salmon.
Yeah. Salmon. Good. Some people say salmon.
Well, they're wrong.
Tomato.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
So, speaking of Mother's Day, let's get into it. Let's talk about some movies.
Let's talk about some movies. Because it's a very good place to start.
It's the place to start and to finish.
Start at the very beginning.
So what we did was we asked our mothers, what their favorite movies were. Yeah. And first of all, what did you think your mom was going to say before you asked her?
I thought she was going to say this.
Okay. So you guessed correctly.
I did.
So what was the movie that your mom said?
My mom picked The Sound of Music. And I was actually talking to her, I think it was the weekend after, that I had asked her what her favorite movie was and told her we were going to do this. And she said, she had to do it. It was a classic. It's just something you can't ever go wrong with. And, the music is great. She was a music major in college. She's the reason that I was any sort of musical as a child. Was because of her and her love for music. So it's just like this movie is her. Mm-hmm. But then she said, it was down between The Sound of Music and Tootsie. And I just thought that The Sound of Music was a little bit classier than Tootsie.
Tootsie's a great movie.
I know. And she loves that movie.
Dustin Hoffman's apparently an asshole.
I know. But I see that movie in the Criterion Collection and I always want to buy it for you because I know how much my mom loves that movie. But then I don't want to steal her joy for being able to buy that movie for you for the Criterion Collection. So I guess need to push her in order to do it. But yeah,
let's
so
talk about
if you
this
have
movie a
not
little bit.
seen
Yeah.
The Sound of Music, it came out in 1965, and it's about a woman who leaves an Austrian convent to become a governess to the children of a naval officer widower, excuse me. It's also a musical on stage for Broadway.
Written by who?
Roger and Hammerstein. And there was some trivia about this, and I forgot what it was. I think it might have been like the very last one they worked on together. I could be wrong. I could just be making stuff up, which I do sometimes. But
You do that.
I do that. And do. Anyways, so Rogers and Hammerstein, dynamic duo, West Side Story. I can't even think of all the other things. There's just too many. The Richard Rodgers Theater was named after Rodgers from Rodgers and Hammerstein that we saw Hamilton in. They're just all over the Broadway
They're
sphere.
just all over. You can only name two
It's
things
just
they
like,
did.
oh my gosh, you just toss a rock and you hit Rodgers and Hammerstein. Anyway, so it's based on the 1959 playbook of the same name, which is based very loosely on the memoir of Maria von Trapp titled The Story of the Trapp Family Singers. But if you actually look at the history of that book, it is different.
This is based on a true story in the loosest sense of the word. Basically, it takes place in the 30s in Austria, and there was a nun that married a man, and he had a bunch of children, and they sang. That's basically the end.
One
of the
thing that
story.
I do remember that I had read about it was when, in the actual marriage of Maria and Captain Von Trapp, I can't think of his name right now, because it's a weird name. Whenever
his name is Christopher Plummer.
No, I'm talking about the name of the character. Anyways, whenever he had actually asked Maria to marry him, she did not love him and did not want to marry him.
It was a loveless marriage.
It was because of the children and how much she loved the children and thought that they needed a mother. And so I also thought that was a perfect reason to have this movie for Mother's Day, is because, it was Maria becoming a mom. And so it's kind of neat to see. And it's a different dynamic of, like the typical family. It's a stepmom instead of the mom. And so it's like, it's a good picture of what different families can look like too.
That's a lot of kids, though.
Yeah, that is a ton of kids.
I mean, in the movie there were 7. In real life there were 10. That's 10 children.
That's just like 10 too many.
Elyse, why do you think there were 7 in the movie, though? Why do you think they made it 7?
7 because 8 with her is a complete octave.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Without her, they're incomplete. Yeah.
There you go. We don't actually
I don't know if
if
that's
they
real
did
or
that on
not.
purpose,
I just kind of saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, there's 7 of them. But wait, an octave complete in a movie, and it's like she's the 8th one.
I mean, I
but
think
then
the
that
fact
leaves the
that
dad out.
I think the fact that they sing the entire song about the octave says
Do, re,
that
mi,
was
fa, sol, la, ti, do,
probably...
ti, do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your mom obviously loves this movie very much. Why do you think that is? Besides just there's music in it.
I think she, in college, did a European tour with her choir. And I think the movie had obviously come out before then, but I think that it was still kind of like new enough and like fun enough to be able to... She went to Austria, from what I recall, with her group, and it was just probably like the right timing for her to be able to latch onto that experience with her going over there and the music and everything. And so I think it probably had something to do with that. She's a big Julie Andrews fan too.
Who isn't?
But I mean, I really do think that the main reason that she liked it is the story that's told, but also the really good music that's in it.
It's like, you forget how many, like, everyone knows the Sound of Music song. Everyone knows of Favorite Things, but you forget all the music that's in this movie until you watch it, and you're like, oh yeah, this song is from this movie. This song
I am 16 going on 17.
Yeah.
I sang that song a lot.
Yeah, I forgot that one. I forgot the What Can You Do with a Problem Like Maria or something. I forgot that was.
How do you solve a
Yeah, there you
problem
go.
like Maria?
I forgot that was this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like how many, like almost every single one of these songs is like a huge song that most everyone knows.
You know the song that I don't like though?
Hmm.
Climb Every Mountain. Oh,
I'm sorry.
what an awful way to open the second act.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I saw this movie a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
You didn't?
I was a little kid.
It's a long movie for
I was a little kid, and I remember we had neighbors across the street in the house that my parents grew up in, right across that street, and they had a laser disc player, and I was over there. They had a daughter who was a little bit older than me, named Melissa.
16?
No, she
going
was
on
no.
17?
This is probably I was probably like
5?
I was probably like
going
10.
on 6?
It's probably like 10, and
Okay.
she was probably like 13 or 12 or something. Anyway, she was kind of she was kind of a tomboy, so we would play sports and stuff together every so often. And I forget why I was over there, but I was over at their house for dinner or something, and they're like, want to watch a movie on the laser disc player? And they took out, you've seen a laser disc before, right? It's a giant disc. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And it was The Sound of Music, and it's long. And I just wasn't into it. And I know I've seen it since then, but I don't remember when. So I enjoyed getting to sit down and watch this movie from beginning to end. I thought it was cool. And I liked the movie. I like the music's great. Julie Andrews is awesome. Christopher Plummer is so young. He's so young.
I did read that he was 35 and Liesel was 21 whenever they shot the movie, and Liesel had a big crush on
Liesel
him.
being the oldest of the Von Trapp
of the
children.
sibling, yeah. And so she always had the secret crush on him and flirted with him on set, and he reciprocated the flirtations and the feelings of likeness, but never acted on it.
Christopher, you dog.
Yeah, but
he says he never acted on it.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll come out in a tell-all someday. I've seen the musical of this. I don't know if I had told you that. I've seen it on stage before. Mm-hmm. It came through Dallas a couple years ago.
How is it different?
The order of the songs is different. They
always do that.
And I don't remember them having anything extra in there that was a song, but it was all arranged differently to the point where I was like, some of them, it actually made more sense to be in a different place, but the majority of them, I thought, this is interesting, why they would move that there. And it was a lot of jumping around. And I understand, why a movie version might have to have it different than a play just because of scenery and all of that. But I think that with The Sound of Music being such a classic movie, that having the stage adaptation a little bit different was maybe not the best call. And I guess I don't really remember which one came first. But the chicken or the egg, who really cares?
What do you mean, the musical or the movie?
Yeah. Was it the musical first?
It was the musical, yeah. This is based on the playbook.
Well, the movie did a much better job.
Really? That's surprising.
Yeah. But then again, it's just because I'm so much more used to how the movie flows and everything.
And it's when you see it the first time. Because that was, when we saw Les Mis, I had never seen it performed before, so I had only listened to the songs a bunch of times and seen the terrible movie. And the movie did rearrange the order of some of the songs as well, and that threw me off. I was like, well, why isn't this after this? But obviously the musical is much better, but that's just because of my own personal reasons.
Well, you just can't beat Julie Andrews. You just can't.
No, you can't do it. You can't.
Was it Mary Martin that played her on stage?
Oh,
I think it was Mary Martin, which is why her hair was cut so short like that. Mary Martin's was like that.
You know, my favorite part of the Do Re Mi song is La. That's my favorite part.
La.
Because
a long way to run.
No.
Oh, Fa. Yeah. A long way
La to run. Is just the one.
No to follow so.
Yeah, it's every one of these has a meaning, and then they got to La, and we're like, that's just the one.
What would you have said?
I don't know.
Exactly. La.
But I'm not the one writing the...
La. Lava likes to flow. La. La, 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 la. don't know.
So I'm reading about it right now. Sorry.
That's okay.
Apparently, the rumor is Hammerstein just wrote a note to follow so as a placeholder before he came up with the line, and then it just never got.
And it just stuck.
It just stuck.
Yeah,
that's pretty great.
You know what I did find was interesting too. I don't know why I always think that if you are a vocalist, you are also a musician, and I think that's just because whenever,
as in one who plays
an instrument,
yes.
Yeah. And so whenever, like I saw Julie Andrews in the movie and she was playing the guitar, I was like, oh, she probably learned how to play the guitar when she was little, and because of that, she was able to learn her vocals probably a little bit easier and stuff. But she hadn't, and she actually had to learn the guitar for the movie. And so did Christopher Plummer for that Edelweiss song. And I thought that was so interesting because I always just feel as though you are a vocalist, you are a musician, at least in the I guess past more classically trained people.
Yeah.
Because I know that nowadays it's not always that case.
Well, I wonder how much of it, I mean, you know more about music than I do, but I wonder how much of it is if you are a naturally gifted vocalist, maybe you're less likely to have trained in instruments versus someone that I think everyone that sings has a certain level of talent and they have a certain level of practice that gets them better at it. But some people are just naturally more talented, without that specific training. They're just better at singing than other people.
Yeah.
And maybe those people, I mean, I don't know Julie Andrews'
I don't know where they
background.
would learn the pitch as well if they didn't have any sort of, do you
hear
have
it,
to know what
right?
the notes are?
Yeah.
I mean, if you've never heard a C before, how are you going to be able to be like, okay, what's a C? Sing C for me. You have to have heard the pitch before. So I guess whether it be in another song or something else, I don't know. Anyways, I thought that was really interesting.
I mean, knowing a pitch with your throat and knowing how to play a C on a guitar are two entirely different things.
Yeah. But I just think that if you're a musician, it would help you with your pitch.
I think you're absolutely right. But
anyways, it's interesting.
Total tangent.
You know what another song is that's great in this movie that I love that has strings? The Marionette song. My sisters and I, we would always pretend to play that song and try and yodel. We were never good at yodeling.
What do you think your mom's favorite song is?
It's probably either The Sound of Music or The Favorite Things. Because we would listen to Sandy Patty. Oh, we love Sandy Patty. And Barbra Streisand, both of their Christmas albums. I think it was Sandy Patty's Christmas album has a version of Favorite Things. I think she also has the absolute best version of the Carol of the Bells out there. If you want to pretend like you were directing an orchestra, you need to go and get that version of A Carol of the Bells by Sandy Patty. You will get it. It's just like, bum, bum, and you just go in your car and you just turn it really loud.
What is happening right now?
Just, oh my gosh. My body is just right now. It's so intense right now, feeling the music and thinking about it in my head. I want to just direct it and just, it's just a.
I wish everyone could see what you're doing right now because it's very strange.
So on Moulin Rouge, the title scene, when they're not the opening credits, when the little musician guy is directing. Have you ever watched closely? Because at the end, he gets so into it that he kicks out to the side, and he goes down, and then he just comes right back up, and he just side kicks out to the right. That's what I like to do, or pretend I would be if I were directing this version of The Carol of the Bells by Sandy Patty. Anyways,
how did we get here? Sound of Music.
Sandy Patty does a version of the Sound of Music song.
Okay.
I'll tell you exactly how we got there.
So, Elyse, this is a podcast about us. It's about marriage. So, you say many times that you are your mother's daughter. Yes. You are. And I, as an outside observer, can confirm you and your mom getting together, the way you guys
talk to each other.
The way you phrase sentences and pronounce things, your tone, it's identical, and it freaks me out. But obviously you've also taken your mom's love for music.
Yes.
It does not surprise me that one of the most well-known musicals is your mom's favorite movie.
Yes.
And you love musicals and you love music and you love theater, and all this was taken from your mom. Have we said on the podcast what your mom's job was at the Six Flags? Did we ever said that?
No. So she was a music major in college,
yeah.
and she actually was trying to break into the music industry for a long time. And so
I've sat next to her at church. Your mom's got pipes.
Yeah, she, all growing up and everything, she would always like sing Sundays at the church, like even when we would go back and the church service, they knew we were going to be there. I mean, like the small town of Weiner, you were there. It's like what, 100
like 6 people.
And so when you go to the church and like she grew up there, they would always ask her to come back and sing, like on the Sunday morning service, because like it was just, she grew up there. The people still knew her. They loved her. They loved the family. And so they would always ask her to do that because she just would always sing. But what was I talking about?
Six Flags.
Oh, yeah. So whenever she had graduated college, she was looking for something that would be able to keep her in kind of the music industry for a bit. And so Six Flags theme park, which
in Arlington,
Texas. I know that there are other different Six Flags around. So I don't know if they each have something like this, but it was called the Crazy Horse Saloon. And it's like this little mini variety show of sorts. They like wear not can outfits, but because when I think of can, I think of like Moulin Rouge can, but it wasn't that. It's just like 1930s type. I don't know. Anyways, she
like
worked at the Crazy
stuff?
Yeah, she worked at the Crazy Horse Saloon. There's a picture of her in our house, and she's in her costume, and she's like bent over with this thing, and I would always walk by, and I was like, "Mom, why do we have that picture?" And she's like, That's me. Mom, what are you doing? And so then every time we'd go to the Six Flags, we'd always go and we'd see one of their shows because we'd always think about, oh, yeah, man, Mom used to work here.
Yeah, we went to Six Flags
cool.
a couple years ago, and we walked by there. We were like, oh, that's where your mom used to work.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Do they still do the show?
They do. They have
the
a lot of
show?
I don't think it's the same show that she had, but it's at the same place. That'd be kind of boring if it was the same show that she had had.
All right. Anything else about The Sound of Musica?
No.
I think this is a really great movie, and I'm glad we got to watch it again.
Really good.
I enjoyed it. It is long, but it's not like super long. It's not like
It's not like Gone with the Wind.
No. Well, it's funny because we rented this through Amazon, and we rented the 10th anniversary edition, and it came out and it said the runtime was 4 hours and 20 something minutes, and I was like, Elyse, it's 8:00 at night. There's no way we're doing this thing.
I know.
And it turns out the last hour and a bit is just like behind the scenes stuff.
You know another song we didn't even talk about?
What?
So Long, Farewell.
Oh yeah, because that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I like when the little girl, the littlest one.
It's time.
It's so adorable.
To go. Oh, the sun has gone to bed, and so must I.
My parents used to sing that to us
Night.
when they were trying to get us to go to bed. As little kids, I remember that. I didn't even know what it was from at the time, but my dad watched that movie. My dad likes that movie too. My mom does too. When we get to my mom, we might have some similarities. So let's do that.
Right after a short break from our sponsor, Lovesack.
Lovesack. Giant bags of beans. And also couches.
And couches where you can sit with your love.
Sack.
And punch them in the face.
This would be so much easier if we were actually sponsored and they gave us copy to read.
Yeah. Type in the promo code.
We already did that.
I know. I'm just trying to think of like what a promo code we'd want would actually be.
We should write some fake commercials.
I told you that. When we heard the thing the other day.
Uh-huh.
We're going to get you guys some fake commercials and they're going to be awesome. Like for, I don't know.
Okay, we need...
Will those companies get upset at us? I guess if we make fake ones, like would Lovesack actually get upset at us?
No, it's parody. It's fine.
Okay.
We actually have to go to break now, at least, though. So let's do that because
Okay.
there's going to be a song right here. And we are back, and it is time.
Guess who's actually back though? Who just released a song today?
Who, Elyse?
Backstreet Boys.
I don't care at all.
They just released their first song
That's
in like
sad and
25 years.
That's a little sad. I think it's time for them to move on.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I haven't even listened to it yet.
Cool.
Oh no, but it's called Don't Go Breaking My Heart. Or
What?
something like that. And I thought to myself, this is the name of another song. Interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I'm going to make you listen to that before we go to bed tonight.
Hooray.
I know, you're going to be really excited.
All right, let's talk about my mommy and my mom's favorite movie. I got it wrong. You can vouch for me on this. When I said trying to guess what my mom's favorite movie was going to be,
you did.
I said The Wizard of Oz, and it is not The Wizard of Oz. But my mom, I know for a fact that they used to watch that every Christmas. That was one of their Christmas traditions was watching The Wizard of Oz every year. My mom gave me 3 movies, and I ended up picking the first one. She said To Kill a Mockingbird,
Okay.
Sound of Music, and Silence of the Lambs. So very eclectic mix of films there. My mom has my mom has very broad tastes in movies. She likes something from everything. So we got a musical in there, we got a classic drama, and we got a scary horror movie. But we decided to go with the first one she said, which was To Kill A Mockingbird.
Not tequila.
Tequila.
To Kill A.
So wait, is that why there's no tequila in it?
Yeah.
Huh. Of course.
They put it in the watermelon, that's why. You couldn't see it. And then they fed the kids the watermelon, and that's why they were acting crazy. You never knew.
There you go. This is, of course, the film directed by Robert Mulligan. It came out in 1962.
Any relation
3 years before your movie.
Any relation to Carrie Mulligan?
I don't know. Maybe. It's, of course, based on the novel of the same name by Harper Lee. For those of you that have not seen To Kill a Mockingbird, I'd be very interested to see if there are any people that have not seen this movie or read that book, because I feel like
It's part of required reading for a lot of high schools.
Yeah, if you're in America, we have listeners that don't come from here, so I wonder if that's
true.
But I would be interested to see if between those two things, because I feel like this is one of the most well-known and well-read books in our country, at least. It's about. Sorry, go ahead.
I would think that if you were doing some sort of American literature study, this novel would be.
It would have to be. Yeah, it would have to be.
I don't know.
It's about a young girl named Scout Finch living in the south of Alabama. Are they live in? It's in the deep south during the Depression. Her father is a lawyer named Atticus Finch, and he defends a black man charged with rape that was obviously it didn't happen. The movie makes it very clear that nothing like that ever happened. Mm-hmm. It's about a lot of things. It's about classism. It's about racism. It's about racial injustice. It's about growing up. It's about losing your innocence.
Yeah. And
it is, I think, a fascinating movie. I understand completely why my mom loves this movie so much. Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch is
such a dreamboat.
He's so good. Like I've seen this movie so many times, And I cannot tell you, like, every time this movie comes on, I am transfixed. The courtroom scene, like, the back end of this movie, the third act of this movie is like one long court scene. And we don't really leave the courtroom for this entire scene. And the entire trial plays out in front of our eyes. And it's riveting. And it's tragic and horrifying, but Gregory Peck is so good. And I think if you ask my mom, I think that's the part of the movie she would love very much. I mean, like, I think probably younger Gina Daly probably liked the Scout stuff more, but I think as an adult you have to just love the courtroom stuff, the Gregory Peck stuff. You'd seen this movie before, right? I know you read the book. Everyone read the book.
I had seen the movie before. I think I might have actually seen it in school. I know that it was part of our required reading for 9th grade, 10th grade.
9th or 10th, I think.
But it has been a very long time since I've read the book. I actually, this past year, read a children's book called Mockingbird that based its title and the nickname for the main character that's a girl on the book To Kill a Mockingbird, which I thought it was interesting to do that for a children's book because the whole like idea of how the main character got her nickname from her brother, which was Scout, and kind of a lot of things that were very subtle nuances, in the book. If you hadn't read To Kill a Mockingbird, you probably wouldn't have picked up on. But the audience for the book Mockingbird is for probably like 9 and 10-year-olds. But I did have one kid in my class who had read To Kill a Mockingbird, and he says it's his favorite book. Actually, I didn't tell you yesterday when they were taking their science star, one of my other kids was reading Crime and Punishment.
Damn.
I was like,
damn.
Well, and then the other kid, the one that's their favorite book was To Kill a Mockingbird, was reading the time theory book that Stephen Hawking wrote.
The Theory of Everything?
Yes, he was reading that earlier
they
this year.
cannot be comprehending these things that they're reading.
Yeah.
No. No.
I think he's smarter than me. I really do. I will humbly admit that.
Well, it's interesting because, like you said, we don't read this until high school. But this is not To Kill a Mockingbird is not a challenging book.
No. I
think a 10-year-old could understand what the book's talking about just fine. I think we push it further because it says bad words in it. Like this is on the list of banned books. This is most often thrown on it.
Yeah.
It has the N-word in it. And I was actually listening to a podcast today that was talking about that. It was the Katie Couric podcast about like the culture of outrage that they were examining right now. And this idea of trigger warnings and stuff and are they necessary? Are they relevant? And one of the questions that was posed on the episode was, okay, like everyone that reads this book is at least somewhat aware that it was written at a different time, and the language used in this time was language that was accepted in this time and is not language that's accepted now.
Yeah.
And I think everyone understands that, and that's great. But the thing that they phrased that I had never really thought of myself is, what if you're the one black kid in a class filled with white people, and you're reading this book? And this book is using these words in it, and that's got to be uncomfortable. I mean, that's got like as a person that not only are you a minority class, but in this classroom, which in my high school we had, like I think in my graduating class of 700 people, I think we had like 5 black people. So. Like I grew up in a very white suburb. It's a little better now, but when I was in high school, it was very, very white. And I mean, that's got to be an uncomfortable experience. Like it's got to feel uncomfortable. So like we've gotten off track here, but I don't think like banning books is stupid. I think this is an extremely important book to understand our country, to understand the South and the issues that were going on, and the issues that we are still fighting with today. I think this is a very important book to read, and thusly a very important movie to watch. But I also do understand how some people would feel very uncomfortable with something like Huck Finn too. Like I think that's a book that's definitely of its time, but if I was the one or the two black people in a class filled with white people where this language is being tossed around, it would make me feel pretty uncomfortable. And I would hope that any classroom would give that person an opportunity to weigh in on it and to speak about it and to question it. That's a complete tangent. I'm sorry, but it was just on my mind.
Yeah. But I think that too, like giving people an opportunity, especially when you're younger, to talk about those things in an environment to where, like, if you're in a classroom is designated to learn.
Right.
And so you hopefully have a sense of vulnerability that the teacher has established to where you feel as though you are able to take those risks and not get condemned for it.
Yeah, everyone.
And so I think that if we're talking about in the future, like breaking down certain like mindsets and stuff like that we think should change, that having an opportunity for that to happen and those discussions to take place in the classroom is really important, and that a lot of times those discussions happen because of books and because of other things.
Exactly. That's
and because
what
of current
stories can
events.
do.
And so it's like it's really important to give students an opportunity to talk
to think
that
critically about it.
And it's just like,
and it's like there's all this talk about safe spaces. Everyone's like, we need safe spaces for this, and the left like celebrates and supports safe spaces. The right kind of decries them as part of the PC culture, whatever. And I'm generalizing here, obviously, but I think classrooms are supposed to, by design, be a safe space. By the literal definition of safe space, they are supposed to be.
They should be safe places.
Okay. I don't mean physical violence. Why? I mean a place.
I'm just meaning all in general. They should be, shouldn't they?
A place where all people of different upbringings and races and cultures and can come and discuss and think critically and feel safe to make their opinions known and their feelings about things known. And so the idea that you would take this book out of circulation is just insane to me. Anyway, the movie To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, the movie.
I think, we talk so much about the type of movies I like and the type of characters I like. We talk about Captain America and this moral center, strong moral character that knows what's right and refuses to bend on it. And
oh yeah, that's Atticus.
That's Atticus Finch. That is Atticus Finch. And we're talking To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus. I understand that in the Go Tell a Watchman book that Harper Lee released right before her death, Atticus Finch is not quite as
I never read that
open.
one.
I haven't read it either. My sister read it, and just the prevailing sentiment was apparently Atticus Finch is not the moral upstart, like the perfectly moral paragon that he seems like in this story.
Sad.
Yeah, but it makes sense from kind of a growing up kind of way, because as a kid you see your parents as like these completely perfect people that don't make mistakes and know everything and are right about everything, and then as you grow up you realize, no, they're just people. And they're doing the best they can with what they have. But I think one of the reasons my mom likes this movie is because of that moral center, that moral paragon that Atticus Finch is, that he knows what's right and he's going to do what's right. Some of the most powerful scenes of the movie to me are like when he's standing there in front of the jail cell and the mob comes to hang Tom, and he's there standing in front of them saying no, and I think looking at my mom picking this as her favorite movie, looking at the type of person I have become in my life and the type of characters and stories I identify with, enjoy, and want to be like the most, doesn't surprise me that my mom would call this her favorite movie.
When you watched this the first time, was it with your mom? Or was it
I honestly don't remember. I feel like I've seen this movie so many times. It could have been. It probably was. I don't remember.
I was just interested to know if she was the one that kind of showed it to you. Or
I'm sure she was. I'm sure she was. I remember we had this on tape. I'm pretty sure we got a DVD player. We got it on DVD. I'm sure they own it on Blu-ray right now. I don't know, but this is one of those ones that
if it's on Blu-ray, sometimes those old movies aren't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is, but it's a really wonderful movie. the scene when he's packing up, he's lost the case that he knew he was going to lose, and he's packing up his stuff quietly, and all the people on the ground level have left, and everyone in the upper level, which is all the black people in the upper level on the balcony, all looking down at him, they all stand up and they're just staying in there. They're not leaving, they're staying. And Atticus starts walking out, and the one guy hits Scout and says, "Stand up, child. That's your father walking by us." And it's just this beautiful, every time I get emotional.
It's a good moment.
It is.
Good picture.
Yeah. So, let's see. How are we doing on time?
I don't know, babe. How are we doing on time?
Doing pretty good. I don't know. Talk to me more about this movie, because I've done most of the talking.
I mean, I don't know. It's not.
Boo Radley was the Mockingbird, and that. So sorry, I just thought of another thing to say. So I'm gonna take it back. I'm taking the ball back.
That's okay. I volleyed it to you.
The thing,
is that no? I didn't volley it to you. I served it to you. I've been trying to learn tennis lingo. I'm not really good at it.
Oops! I just hit the microphone. The thing that I like about the morality of this film is that, as a kid, as a young child, you do things because you're told. You do things, the law says this is right. And at the beginning, for most of the movie, that is kind of what Atticus Finch is doing. He is taking the form of the what the law says you should do. The law says everyone gets a fair trial, everyone gets a proper defense. This person is black in a community that doesn't value black people, but he still deserves the same legal defense and the same trial that everyone else does. And that's kind of Atticus's motivation throughout most of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the end of the movie, and we have Boo Radley killing, I forget his name, but Boo stabs the guy that's the father of the victim in the trial. And Boo Radley stabs him because he's trying to assault Scout and Jim. And the sheriff basically says, we're not going to do anything with this. He stabbed himself, we're going to lie. So from a perfectly letter of the law situation, what they're doing is morally incorrect, right? Because they're letting Boo Radley murdered this guy, they're letting him go off free. But that's kind of the transition into a more complicated type of world, because sometimes the law is just and right, and sometimes it isn't. The law said that Tom was guilty. The law said that Boo Radley should go to jail for murder. But to do that would be to kill a mockingbird. And so it's like this transition of this idea of morality from you do this because these are what the rules say, to learn that sometimes the rules aren't right, and sometimes we have to find a morality, a make a decision, make a call about the right thing that's outside of what is supposed to be done. And I think that's part of growing up, and I think that's Scout realizing this, and Scout being witness to this, is a perfect encapsulation of that coming of age tale. And I like that. I like it so much because that's the truth, is that morality is complicated. What is right and what is wrong is really hard, and most people wrestle with it their entire lives. And it's a great way to show the changing nature of that as you get older in this story. That's all I had to say about that. Did that make sense? Did I do a good job of explaining that?
It did make sense. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say?
I think you did good. I think you did a real good job there.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie as much. I haven't read the book as much.
I've only read the book once. I need to go back and read the book. It's a beautiful book. It's beautifully written.
From what I recall, it is, but it's one of those things where, looking back on it, do I like it and remember it and give it as much praise because I really liked the book,
or because of its universal,
because it's
like the Citizen Kane of books.
And so I mean, it's just kind of I I like Gregory Peck. I think he's a fantastic actor. I really do think that he did a good job in this. I like the relationship that they show between the brother and the sister. And I do think it's...
Who's the other kid?
The Dill.
Dill.
His name Dill.
God, he's so goofy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's just fun. And I think it's a good way in order to bring kids into the book. You know, I think that sometimes whenever you give them characters that they don't necessarily relate to because of an age. I mean, and so I think that it's good because when you have an adult book with a child character, not that every person's childhood is the same, but everyone has been a child.
Right.
And
that's
so
why
I think that it's a good kind of angle to take the lesson that she wanted to teach in this.
That's why I wouldn't even call this an adult's book. I mean, like if you wanted to make an adult story, you tell the story of the trial, and the Scout is your audience surrogate. She is the target audience for the people who want to be reading this book, and so we're supposed to be experiencing all these things through her eyes, and we do. And I think that's one thing the movie does very smartly is all this stuff with the trial until we get to the trial itself. It's all kind of happening in the background as Scout plays or sleeps, or we're so stuck in her point of view that a lot of this stuff is we're only picking it up because we're adults.
She's being dragged along by her brother.
Exactly.
And
I think that's a great way of framing the movie to make it clear we're in her point of view, we're in her perspective.
Yeah.
Especially when you see that, like, the way the trial unfolds, it is so obvious by the end of it that this guy did nothing, that he did nothing. And you can see, like, the confusion on Scout's face. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't ever really talk about the trial because you get the idea that she's not really old enough to understand, but she understands just enough to know that this doesn't make any sense, that this can't be right. This is not the way it should be. And that's great. It's great. All right, that's To Kill a Mockingbird, my mom's favorite movie. Mom, thank you for picking that. I love talking about this movie. I want to go read the book again, and I think I'm going to do that. Not
just
right now.
Put it on the list.
I got to add it under
Steve, after your next Stephen King.
Yeah.
You can't leave Stephen out of the mix.
All right, Elyse. So we had a question, but it's been 2 weeks, and I don't remember what the answers were.
I just remember that one of them was a bad text message.
Oh yeah. It was. The question was, what's the worst gift you ever gave your mom? Did you have an answer for that one?
So I actually asked my mom if I had given her like any gift that was awful that she didn't like before. And I told her, I was like, I bet you it's actually something that I handmade for you when I was little. But if it is something that I bought for you, you can be totally honest and it won't hurt my feelings. And she said that there's, actually a box of Christmas ornaments that we made whenever we were younger. And whenever she tries to put them on the Christmas tree, we never let her because they are so ugly and we don't want to have them on the tree. But she never didn't like them at all or anything. But there was one gift that I didn't give her, but my little sister gave her. And my little sister went through this big phase of making jewelry out of these beads.
Oh boy.
And so she made these really big, obnoxious earrings for my mom and gave them to her and kept on wanting my mom to wear them. And so my mom, being the kind person that she is, would wear them, but they were totally ugly, is what she said. But that was the only thing that she had actually said. We, with my mom, it's not necessarily gifts, tangible things that we give her. She's much more appreciative of experiences is what we've come to notice as we've gotten older. And so I don't think that she has ever not enjoyed one of those things because they're either things that she doesn't always treat herself to, or just fun things that she never really thought would be a good experience, and then she gets to try it and then she likes it. So yeah, I don't know.
All right,
so I'm not a bad gift giver.
Well, good for you.
What?
Good for you.
What about you?
I'm a terrible gift giver. And the worst,
you give me gifts.
The worst Mother's Day gift I ever gave my mom was the day of Mother's Day when I realized I had not gotten anything from my mom, and I snuck out of the house.
How old were you?
I mean, I went to a store and bought stuff.
So you had to have been able to drive.
No, because I walked. I was not older than 16.
Okay.
I was probably 12 or 13. I snuck out of the house because there's a door to an attic in my bedroom.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
And I can walk across the beams to get to the attic that's above my garage, and then I can push down the unfoldable stairs on the hatch in the garage, and then go out the side door of the garage. And I never used that to sneak out of the house. Never. But I did it the morning of Mother's Day because I hadn't got them gifts, and I rushed to. This was after my dad basically yelled at me for like, you didn't get your mom a gift? What the hell, dude? And so I rushed to like an Albertsons that was within walking distance and bought like little like, I think it was flowers in like a picture, like a 4-sided picture frame or something. Mm-hmm. And it's not like that was a bad gift by itself, but then I came back, snuck back in, and then like my dad happened to say something about gifts or something. It was like, yeah, well, I ran and got these today, as if like that makes it look better that I did it last minute or something. I don't know. I was just very transparent about the fact that I just ran out and got the things like right before it was time for moms to, because my grandma was there too, and I got one from my grandma as well.
Aww.
It's bad. I was bad with gifts as a kid. It's bad. It's hard.
It is hard.
All right. That's it though.
Yeah.
Besides, Fowler's accidentally set his mom a sext for some reason. That was weird.
How awkward.
Yeah. Why would you do that? What are we doing next week, Elyse? You're very excited about this.
I am so excited. So I'm one of those people that has totally bought into the whole royal family craze, and the fact that Prince Harry is marrying Meghan Markle on Saturday is just like so exciting to me. So I'm trying to figure out how to rope Scott into being able to watch it with me. So, of course, Vow to View, what a great excuse, right? So Lifetime is actually putting together this movie, and they've already released it earlier this week, is what I thought I heard somewhere, but I didn't get to record it or see it. So I'm recording the show of the movie that comes tomorrow so that we can watch the movie for the royal family, and then you can watch the actual wedding with me. And we'll watch it in bed, and I'll make you coffee and scones. And we can have such a great time, and you're going to love it. And it's going to be so beautiful and so great. And so instead of just doing like royal family stuff, because I know you would not like that at all, we're just going to be doing like biopics, or a biopic, if you will.
It's called biopic.
It's a biopic. So we're doing movies based on people's lives.
Yeah, and you're going to watch your terrible Lifetime movie that's going to be awful.
I know it's going to be so bad, but I can't wait to watch it. It's like the train wreck that you just don't want to look away from.
And so I had to counter this because we can't watch 2 bad movies in 1 week. So I had to pick
It's going to be bad. It's going to be so bad. I'm so excited.
Pick the best biopic I could think of.
And I don't know what you picked.
So I picked Schindler's List.
Oh, you did tell me you were talking
about that. That is a movie you've never seen. Schindler's List.
I have not.
It is based on a true story, so it technically counts as a biopic.
It's my favorite time period to study in history.
It's going to be horribly depressing. Yeah, but you've never seen it, so we're going to cross that one off your list. So for the first time in a while, we are both going to be watching something that the other person has never seen. Of course,
something I have never seen either. Both times. Yeah. I'm so excited.
So that's what we were doing.
I hate Lifetime movies, but I'm going to enjoy this one.
It's going to be so bad, guys.
I just really like Meghan Markle, too. I used to watch her in Suits. She's so pretty.
We're going to save this whole conversation for next week.
Did you hear how much their wedding cake cost?
No.
Over $71,000.
That's stupid.
$71,000 on cake.
What? And you're participating in this ridiculousness.
I love it.
So more on that next week, because that is all we've got for you guys this week. Thanks for hanging out with us for an hour. We'll be back to our weekly schedule. Sorry we missed a week there. If you like,
it's my fault. I'll take
both of our faults. If you like this podcast and want to support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/dailyplanetfilms. That's where you can donate $1 a month or whatever else you can afford to us. There's lots of cool extras and bonuses you get when you donate to us. Like there's a Q&A session that we do a monthly Q&A. If you donate at the $10 level, you get access to that. And Elyse was nice enough to join us in this month's Q&A.
I was on the Q&A.
Matt was a little sick and he couldn't make it, and we didn't want to cancel it, so Elyse just jumped in there, and it was a good time.
It was me actually making Matt sick from afar because I just wanted to be on the Q&A so bad.
Of course.
I sent him a package that was laced with some germs from my school.
So head on over to patreon.com/dailyplanetfilms and check out all that stuff. And also, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, if you could please go and leave us a rating and a review. As we've said in the past, Elyse will read out loud whatever review you send us in whatever...
Oh, if you want it to be in an English accent.
Yeah, she's got a really wonderful English accent, so you can do it in that.
Top of the morning too, yeah?
Oh, God.
Oh, there's lots of different variations of the English accent.
Do Cockney.
I can't do it on... It's too much pressure.
Do it.
No. What do I need to say?
I don't know. Say, I'm excited for the royal wedding.
I'm excited for the royal wedding.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't really know what Cockney sounds like, except that Adele kind of slips into it.
Oh, you were just trying to do an Adele.
I was just trying to sound like Adele.
All right, guys.
Hello from the other side.
We will see you next week.
So long. Farewell. We'll see you all next week. I promise not to sleep in Schindler's List. Goodbye.
The defendant is not guilty. But somebody in this courtroom is. Now, gentlemen, in this country, our courts are the great levelers. In our courts, all men are created equal. I'm no idealist to believe firmly in the integrity of our courts and of our jury system. That's no ideal to me. That is a living, working reality. Now, I am confident that you gentlemen will review, without passion, the evidence that you have heard, come to a decision, and restore this man to his family. In the name of God, do your duty. In the name of God, believe Tom Robinson.